All right, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. So, first things first, we own the 3 hour. No 3 hour structure has been broken. We see the 3 hour high still intact, has not been broken. 3 hour low still intact, has not been broken, hasn't even been tested, honestly. So, we can jump straight into the 1 hour. So, with the 1 hour, we do see that we still have our open zone right down here. And our 1 hour high and low from yesterday that was formed has not been broken. Let's go ahead, get this back to the right time. I don't know why it does that. All right. So right at the beginning of our session, so we see that this high has not been broken at all yet. So we are in a retracement phase. So we understand price is pushing to the push to the upside, creating a new high. Price is in a retracement phase. It can still break though. Price isn't required to pull back to any specific area, especially with this being low probability 1 hour because our high was here. No, our high was right here. So price broke with this one candle and never broke above it. So it's a low probability 1 hour structure. So price can really do anything. So our main focus is going to be what's happening on the 10-minute within this little leg that's been going on. All right, so we got to the market about 7:30, so we'll give a few candles. And now we just want to kind of look at price. So what was the clearest high and low that we last see? The clearest high and low would be right here. So this high right here, which broke here, or this one, whichever one you want to do, it got broken right here. So this one is the 10-minute high. This is the 10-minute low. We see price pull back. Price pulled back to here. And it broke above. And it never closed above this high. So it wicked above, then closed. And then it started its retrace. So we can go ahead and pull this. So right there. So we see we have a low probability 10-minute. Now what phase is the 10-minute in? So the 10-minute retraced, continuated, pushing through, impulsing, creating a new high, and now it's starting its retrace. So we're going to focus on this little area here on the 5. To the downside, we actually look and we see that 5-minute and 10-minute structure is pretty much the same. The biggest difference here is the 5-minute is high probability because the 5-minute had a high right here, just like the 10-minute, but it broke, closed, then it gave a second candle push and closed past this breaking candle, gave us a third candle push, and even gave us a fourth little wick before starting its retracement period. So we can go ahead and draw on our zone. We can leave the high and low as 10-minute because the 10-minute and 5-minute are aligned. Or actually, I'll get rid of the low because we had the zone, and we'll just keep that high there. This is 5-minute. All right, so what we want to do here is pull it up, make sure it's 50%. It's close enough to 50% where I'll take it. So now we can check the 2-minute to see if the 2-minute and 5-minute have the exact same structure. So let's go and take a look. So let's see, we see it's similar, but let's go through the structure to make sure. So we had a high here. We got to figure out where the lows are, right? So we have a high here, pull back, pull back. This is the new high, and this is the low. Price actually broke here, making this the low. Then price broke here, making this the low and this the high. And then price shot up past it. So it's not technically the same, but for me, because the structure was in the same direction, I did draw this 2-minute zone right here inside of the 5-minute. Now and that's what I was saying, like it's technically is not the exact same structure, but the flow of it is the same. So price has a low down here with a zone in here, and then it pushed up almost to the exact same high as the 5 and 10-minute. So the flow of it's the same. So it just the way I was looking at it is, hey, this just gives me an opportunity to get in a little earlier if price pushes deep into the 5 minute and gives me a 2 minute confirmation. Should I have done it? I mean, it's really up to you. For me, I made sense of it. It made sense to me. But taking a look at my rules, I will say I definitely probably should not have done this because my only thing is the 5 minute and 2 minute have to be the same. Not similar, the same. Um, that's one reason I look at 2 minute. I look at 2 minute if there's a low probability 5 minute structure, so no zone is formed, and I'll look at 2 minute if I'm in a 5 minute trade and I'm managing it on the 2 minute. At that point, if I have a trade left, I'm willing to scale in on the 2 minute as well. But in this case, this is what I did. Should I have? It's up for debate. You decide. But for me, what I'll say is based off my rules, I should not have done it. So I'm going to count this as a rule break and we'll go and see what happens from there today. So at this point, we're just waiting on pullbacks. We pulled into here. Prices tested this 2 minute zone. It's testing the 2 minute zone. We got a bit of a confirmation right here. So let's see if we get entered. No, we don't. Let's see if price is going to break and close. No, it wicks below, gives us a confirmation. So we want to see about entry. So we're looking at 6 pips. So that is 14.5. So let's see what happens. So we do get wicked into this trade. And then price never find momentum and stops us out. So what I want to do is, so this was our first loss of the day. But let's look at the 5 minute. Let's say I did not draw this 2 minute zone on. Let's see how this trade would have looked on the 5 minute, or if it even would have been a trade. So on the 5 minute, we got the confirmation. So we would have looked for a trade opportunity. But guess what? Price never pushed past this candle, which means we would have never been into it. So that's a reason why, looking back on it, hindsight 2020, of course, I say, dang, I probably shouldn't have put that 2 minute zone there. One, it doesn't match my rules completely. Yes, I was able to make sense of it, but my rules are my rules and they're there for a reason. I broke my rule and I paid the price. Because had I just stuck to the 5 minute zone, once I seen the 2 minute was not completely the same as the 5 minute, I wouldn't have even wasted a trade on that 2 minute move. So again, we live and we learn, but we move on from it. So that was my first trade of the day, which was a loss. And so now we're going to go from there. So what we see now is we can get rid of that. We understand this is the 5 minute high. We see that prices broke this 5 minute zone and pushed past it. So we do have high probability 5 minute. What we need to see though is how far down does it go before it starts to retrace so we can revise our zone. So it's pushing, pushing. Perfect. So this is the low before the retrace. So now what we want to do is go ahead, revise our zone, make sure it is at a 50% level. Perfect. Right around here. That's a very good zone. All right, so let's see if we get a pullback into the zone for our second opportunity of the day. Nope, price immediately pushes past. Let's see if we get another break. Boom. So we do get the break pass. So now we have a high probability zone right here as well. So we got two high probability 5 minute zones to the downside that have been formed. Let's see how far this one goes. Perfect. So this one we don't have to revise because we can clearly tell this is way beyond 50%. Like, this is way beyond 50%. This is more like in that 78% range. So if we get a pullback there and a confirmation off, it is a very, very high probability setup. So let's see what happens. Price plays around, pushes into it. Let's see if we get a confirmation. Boom, we get a nice little sell confirmation. Let's pull it up. This was my second trade of the day, about 12 pips, which means we're looking for 26.5. All right, so let's see if we get entered. Boom, we are entered into this trade. We have our stop loss. Let's go ahead and mark off our 75% level. So 26.5 times 0.75, that's 19.87. So we'll do about 19.9 as our partial. Then we'll go back to 26.5 and let's see what happens. Now we can go to the 2 minute, manage it from the 2 minute. So we see that the 2 minute has given us an impulse to the downside. It hasn't started a retrace yet. Boom, now it has started a retrace. So we're going to mark this as our 2 minute low. And if price can come and break this, then we'll have an area in which we can protect our trade. But as of right now, if price doesn't come back and break it, we're just going to end up taking a full loss because there's nowhere that we can really look to exit early that makes sense with structure. So let's go. Boom. Price pushes up, immediately goes and hits our stop loss. So that finished my day off. That's 2 losses for the day. Um, Again, I broke my rules on the first one, and it led to me taking a loss in a trade that I really shouldn't have been in. This second trade, high probability trade, I would take this trade 10 times out of 10. It is what it is. Now, let's see where price is, because my theory after my session was that if it broke this first zone, it's probably going to come in here, test this open zone, and then push off of it then. So let's see where the market is right now. So this is just a little overtime extra. So price has broke the zone on the 5 minute. It's pushing to the upside. It broke. So this is a high probability 5 minute right here. So what we can do is it high probability? Nah, it's not high probability. This was the first actual break and it pushed here and it never broke above. So we have a low probability high here for the 5 minute. And we have the low here, of course. So, I mean, we could look at the 2 minute. I don't really think it's going to be much there for us. Like, if we look, price push to the downside, low probability, pull back, push to the downside, low probability. So, everything on the 2 minute is low probability too. And it's towards the end of my zone. So, I still think that it might come and do this. And I'm not getting in any more trades, but it's just one of those things I still like to analyze. When I have time left in my session, let me look and analyze, especially times when I broke my rules, because this would have been a this would have been a situation where it's like saving that one trade. This is why breaking your rules is it's important to not break your rules because that one trade left I may have needed it just in case, right? Rather than get into this buy I got into the first time off of something that I broke my rules, I would have been able to take this high probability trade and then if price pushed in here, take a second high probability trade that makes sense. I already knew that this first zone had potential not to hold. Well, one, any zone cannot hold. But even though it was high probability, I knew there was a chance it would not hold because there was an open zone right behind it. But my edge was respected. I got a confirmation, and I don't know 100% for sure which ones will hold and which ones won't, which is why I take all high probability setups. So whenever I waste trades on low probability setups that are against my rules, I pretty much take away one high probability setup that I could have taken later on within my session if I just had been patient and not had broken my rules. So this is one of those situations. I do think price is going to push in here. I don't know if it's going to push off. It could just break straight through. But if it does tap in here and push off, guess what? That would have been my second high probability trade, which more than likely will pay off rather than I only get one high probability trade here, which ended up being a fake out. And I took a low probability trade here because I broke my rules. So again, anybody who's followed along knows I broke my rules a couple times. For the most part, I do pretty well, but it is a daily battle. Like, it's not like you'll just never ever break your rules. You'll never break your rules ever again just because you're profitable or consistent. Like, no, it's a daily battle. Some days you show up and you're the most profitable trader in the world. And the other days you show up and you are susceptible to potentially breaking your rules. You guys see that it's not even that I just outright broke my rules in a way that didn't make sense. Like I'm just randomly jumping in a trade. The setup for that 2 minute actually made sense, and it made sense alongside my 5 minute. So it's not always going to be this, oh, I broke my rules completely type of thing. Sometimes it'll be like what I did made sense to me at that moment, but looking at what happened and looking back at it, if I would have just stayed extremely disciplined to my rules and not try to justify doing things against it, I would be in a better position. And so today, I justified something that was against my rules, and even showing you guys, a lot of you guys might look at it and be like, well, that actually made sense. But it doesn't matter that it makes sense. What matters is it's not a part of my trading plan. And that's the thing in trading. You'll see a lot of things that make sense, but if it's not a part of your trading plan, you need to just note, oh, I see this, and but not take action on it, because you should only be taking action on things that are a part of your solid trading plan. But other than that, we show up again tomorrow, see what happens. So far for the week, we are down. We are 4 losses into the week. Man, yeah, it's been a rough week to start for sure. Yesterday, I took 2 high probability trades. Neither one paid off. Today, I took 1 high probability, 1 low probability, and it didn't pay off. And hey, right now, price is testing into this zone. So I'll give you guys a little bit extra today. So let's just see. Basically, you're getting ready to see live. I'm not going to actually take a live trade because I'm done trading for the day, but I'll give you a live setup of what price is doing. So price is pushing into this 5 minute. Um, if if I had a trade left, if we were to get a bearish confirmation in this zone, I would be looking to get into a sell. So at this point, I'm just being patient, waiting to see what's going on. Do we get a bearish confirmation? Does price break this zone? If price were to break this zone, then I'm done completely, because I'm at the end of my session. This is the only zone I have left that makes sense for me to take a trade right now at the end of my session. So if it were to break this zone and I had a trade left, I would just keep my trade for the next day and say, hey, I only took one trade today, I'm done. So let's see what's going on. We still got 3 minutes on this candle. So that's another reason that I wait for candles to close and then push past them, because candles can look crazy at any time. Let's say you were getting in a buy just because this candle looked bullish, but then by the end of the candle, it turns into a bearish candle. Or same way, you get into a trade early because the candle's bearish, but by the end of that candle, it turns bullish. That's why I wait for it to prove to me that it's going to print a candle confirmation that I need. So I need a bearish confirmation to get in off of this 5 minute zone. So I wait for it to actually print a bearish candle, not for it to look bearish, but still has potential to close bullish. I wait for the bearish candle to finish. Once the bearish candle finish, then I'm looking to get in a couple pips below that, because that proves to me that, okay, price printed a bearish candle and then price kept pushing after that bearish candle, versus, oh, I got a bearish candle, let me enter immediately. No, that's how you get caught in fake outs. And that's not to say I don't get caught in fake out. Like y'all just seen when I'm going through my trades, I got caught in a fake out. Price gave me a bearish confirmation, continued to push after showing that price gave me a bearish confirmation and is continuing to push to the downside. And then it came right back up and faked me out. So you get faked out all the time, but following certain rules like that, what I will say about this rule that I have for my entry confirmation is that it helps me avoid a lot of fake outs too. Because there's a lot of situations where most people just jump in at the break of the candle, or as soon as, not even the break, as soon as the candle closes, they hop right in. And they probably get faked out a whole lot more than I do, just because they don't have that extra little step to their confirmation of, okay, I got to wait for the candle to print and for it to push past. Some people just wait for the candle to close, and enter. Some people is I'm entering as soon as I see bearish sentiment. But everybody to each their own. Like I said, every trading strategy can work. It's more about the person than it is the strategy. Um, it's just taking your time, being disciplined, following the rules. Again, the way I like to think of it is high probability trades have a high chance of winning, but they can lose. Low probability trades have a low chance of winning, but they can win. And that's why some people can take low probability trades and win today. But if they keep taking them over and over and over again, they're going to be unprofitable. That's why people with profitable strategies, such like I consider myself, that I know every trade that I'm that I know every trade that my edge presents is high probability. Do that mean that I lose trades? Yeah, I done had 2 losing days in a row. But I know if I keep taking these high probability trades over and over and over and over, that I'm gonna win more than I lose. It's just a matter of high probability. It's just something to think about. Another little analogy I like to use is if you're in a basketball, like Steph Curry is one of the best 3-point shooters ever. And Ben Simmons, we haven't really seen him shoot threes at all. So I like to consider low probability trades is me saying, I bet that Ben Simmons is going to make more 3-pointers than Stephen Curry. And I consider high probability trades that I think Stephen Curry is going to make more threes than Ben Simmons. And when I'm considering taking a low probability trade, I like to always ask myself, like, do you really want Ben Simmons to take this three over Steph Curry? And typically that makes me not take that bad trade because I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense at all. And then I look at my charts and I'm just like, well, if it doesn't make sense for me to pick Ben Simmons over Stephen Curry in a 3-point contest, then why would it make sense for me to take a trade that has a very high chance of losing over one that has a very high chance of winning? So let's look back at this. We see that price is closed. It did not break this zone. It wicked above but closed within. And it's looking like it's going to give us a bearish confirmation. We still got about 4 minutes to wait on it. Um, this video might be a little bit longer, but hey, you guys are getting some live footage of what it would look like if I were to take this trade right now. Like I said, I already took my 2 trades. I showed you guys that in the early part of the video where I was doing the back testing. But just so happens that live price is at one of the zones I had marked up. So hey, I'm gonna just show you guys what it would look like if I were to take this trade, um, even though I'm not gonna take it live, just because I'm out of trades for the day. But if I did have a trade left, this would definitely be a setup that I would be looking to execute on. So yeah, a lot of trading is patience. So at this point, we just got to be patient. We literally got to give price the full 5 minutes to print the candle, and then towards the end of the 5-minute candle, we can start deciding how price looks like it's going to close. Like if it starts looking like it's going to close bearish, I'll show you guys. As of right now, it does not look like it's going to start closing bearish though. Yeah, this one might actually break, but we still have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to really see what it's going to do. So we're just going to wait and see. All right, we got about 2 minutes left. Typically at the minute and 30-second part is where I start preparing for potential opportunities. So I'll show you guys that in about the next 30 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So this trade right now, it looks like it's setting up to break and be very bullish. However, if this candle were to close bearish, then I know I will be looking to enter under this candle break. So what I do is go ahead and mark up. So about a 10 pip. Now the reason I do this is so I can go ahead and calculate my lot size. Again, I know some people have set lot. I do not. I have a set amount that I risk per day. So if I'm risking 200, 300, 400, I figure out how many pips my stop loss is, and then I go to my website. I have a website that calculates it for me. All I do is put how much I'm risking and how many pips my stop loss is, and then it gives me my lot size. Um, if if somebody wants that or needs that, just leave a comment and I will put the website. I will respond to the comment with the website. But I would do this, and if price continues to extend, I'll extend it and basically go to the website and re-get the correct size. I don't adjust the TP until the trade is actually entered because it's a waste of time trying to adjust this when the stop loss is the most important part, because the stop loss is going to make sure I get the correct lot size. And having the correct lot size makes sure that I'm really risking only what I plan to risk, and that I'm not risking any more than that, and that I'm also not risking less than that too. That way my profit potential that I'm looking at is actually what I expect it to be. So in this case, I see that it closed bullish, so this isn't a trade opportunity at all, and it broke this zone. So unfortunately, guys, this wouldn't be a trade opportunity we would have took. So price is very bullish. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but yeah, we took two L's today. We're gonna show up tomorrow, see what happens.